All right, Sultai Flash. As I'm sure a number of people have already pointed out and observed, this deck is largely standard legal, entirely standard legal, sans the mana base. But I think the mana base is a big reason, or a big upgrade in this format. If you look at this deck, we've got green, green, blue, blue, and black, black cards in the deck. So having much better mana on the back of these buddy lands, in addition to shocks and triomes, is a big deal. Like, being able to cast all of these different spells that we want to play consistently is a big deal. So, one of the things that's kind of interesting about this build, and we'll see if this comes up, is that sans Frilled Mystic here, we don't have that many actual counter spells in this deck, right? In fact, Frilled Mystic is the only one, plus these disputes in the board. So while this is a deck where your cards are playing out largely at instant speed, our deck is also a lot of cards that play to the board. So unlike the blue-green flash decks in Standard, which I think create a lot of very frustrating play patterns, this deck is a little bit less obnoxious in that way because a lot of our opponent's spells are going to resolve and we'll be interacting with them once they're on the board. Likewise, because our things play to the board, when our deck's on the draw, we're going to have a lot better chance when our opponent gets things down rather than just looking at a bunch of counter spells that can't impact the board. Let's go ahead and hop on into a historic constructed event here, and we'll see how this goes. Just tried to import a deck from WotC's website into Arena, and it failed. Well, you see, WotC's a really small indie company that's trying to figure out this whole software thing. They'll get it. They'll get it eventually. Gotta cut them some slack, chat. They're new to this whole software biz. Forgot to update the title. Thank you. A Boreal Grazer. Probably going to have a tough matchup against Yarok Field. Well, to be fair, Wizards of the Coast isn't making an ARPG. Wizards of the Coast IP, Magic the Gathering, is being used in an ARPG, but Wizards of the Coast is not the company actually making that product. They've honestly, quite smartly, subcontracted it out. We restarted between decks. I really think they hit it out of the park with Mutate. I agree. Mutate. The Mutate mechanic has felt quite excellent in my opinion. I think they did a real good job with it. Alright. Slitherwisp into double Nightpack Ambusher here might generate enough pressure to beat through a Field of the Dead. Gobble, gobble. I mean, it's not really very greedy if they want me to tap out so they can stick a Yarok. There are a lot of people who hate anything that changes Magic the Gathering even a little bit. So there are a lot of people who really dislike what companions have done because they appear to be fundamentally changing one of the ways in which we play Magic as a game. Change is scary. Yep. Yikes. And this hit here means that they also get to fill their bin up for Uro. Yep. I agree, Hurley. I really like Mutate and Companion both really show, in my opinion, that there's a lot of design space left for Magic to explore, even 26 years in. They have designers that are still being creative and coming up with good things. These mechanics are something that I think should be celebrated, not cried about. I did, Dr. Brew. Took the kids outside, mowed the lawn. I really am a dad, chat. I was excited. I was excited to get to play with my new power tool. It was a good time. Got a brand new electric lawnmower. It was my first time in the almost 30 years that I've been alive that I've ever used a brand new lawnmower. Every mower previously had been some $25, $30, $50 used mower that was rebuilt. I think we got a the brand is Cobalt, I think. I don't know. I haven't used it enough to have a good opinion on it. It was functional in the first run through, and the battery lasted long enough to do my entire yard. Self-propelled push mower. All right, dogs versus zombies. Let's go. I know they were yesterday's, Marty. I wanted to peek at them and see before they changed over, because I didn't check them yesterday. If they don't do anything here, we'll go Bonder into Nightpack for sure. They actually haven't found their Field of the Dead yet. They just topped, so I assume they're about to get it. Yep. Very, very good chance their zombies outpace my dogs very quickly here. What's up, youngest son?
I got a new ball, and it's golden.
You got a gold ball?
Yeah, I set my ultra ball on. I tried to use it.
That's exciting. That's pretty
a new
cool.
Ball, and it's golden. It must be really strong.
Really strong? You having fun with your Pokemon? Declan got the fairy badge last night, chat. He's a big deal.
I have
Twitch ate my sub message while you were playing the combo deck. As a non-Magic player, I come here and thought I'd give you my Bezo bucks this month because your community is great. I love how you interact with chat. Keep on keeping on. Thanks, Theraberry. I appreciate the support. Rackslide Jr., I appreciate the Prime support. Welcome to Glandy. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. This feels like a good example of why this matchup is real hard for us. I feel like everything went pretty close to ideal for our deck this game. We missed a land drop at one point, I think, but other than that, pretty ideal. And, like, just been pretty thoroughly outclassed in terms of, like, what their end game is doing versus what our end game is capable of. Well, we can't mill them out either because they have a copy of Nexus of Fate in their deck. So milling them out isn't an option. So little trick here. They're targeting the Nightpack Ambusher. When we bounce the Nightpack Ambusher, they're targeting their Maelstrom Pulse will no longer have a target, so it doesn't happen. My wife actually picked out the Declan name. Hey, babe. Thank you for the very generous sub-gifties. I appreciate that. I think we're probably still dead here, huh? Yeah, feels dead. Try refreshing your page, maybe, Handover. There's also occasionally some small delay between when you can re-up and when it expires with Prime. It's weird. So Questing Beast is obviously great. The 3-1 doesn't really do much here. Is this a Mystical Dispute matchup? I feel like countering Yarok and Risen Reef and even Cavalier for 3 mana seems pretty reasonable. Although the downside of this card drawing dead pretty quickly is something to be concerned about. It just didn't matter, Magic. We weren't winning that game. These are probably better than the Tyrant Scorns. I think if we get to the point in the match where Dispute is drawing dead, we probably can't win anymore. That's probably pretty realistic. Seems fine. Slitherwisp in the Nightpack on the play. Finances have been more secure for me the most, so it seems appropriate to spend some money to enable the person to insult you in chat. How do I like Companions in the new set? I've really enjoyed Companions so far. I think Companions really lean into one of the greatest strengths of Magic the Gathering, which is Magic has an incredible wealth of deck building depth. I think Companions do a good job to expand the deck building depth that Magic has compared to other games. Hey, thanks for the 6 months, Seppu. Alright, there's the Field of the Dead we can't counter. I mean, they don't complain about the nice things that I say, Drunk Owl. They only complain that I'm a critical on occasion. I'm sure they love the nice things that I say. Mutate's been gas, I agree. Morning review. I think I want to get Nightpack down rather than Frilled Mystic this. Ooh, that's a good draw. Notably, this is an enchantment with flash, so it triggers Slitherwisp, which is just wonderful. Questerson and a land. I think I'm in for both of those. I think we're probably holding up... Frilled Mystic this turn to counter a 5-drop, and then next turn we can slam Questerson. I close this game out. And again, this feels like a good example of how the game's going to play out on average when we win. I think the games we win in this matchup are ones where we run them down. I think when games go long, like that first one in the set, we're incredibly unlikely to win. Yeah, Nightbonder enabling 6 mana worth of spells on turn 4 was huge there. So I'm going to play second Slitherwisp here. Draw a card, and then I'm going to play Brazen Borrower. Draw 2 cards, they lose 2 life. You love to see it, chat. You love to... The fact that this card makes the opponent lose life is so good. Usually these extra draws in black are templated so you lose the life. Yeah, like, it's... This card is gasoline. Really love it. Welcome to everybody, by the way. We're up to almost 1,700 people in here. That's awesome to see. Glad to see Historic get some love here this morning. If you're newer to Magic Arena or the channel, you're not familiar with what Historic is. Historic is a non-rotating format that Magic has to offer on Arena. Non-rotating means that the format only continues to expand. It never has cards leave unless they are banned or suspended.
Daddy.
What's up, dude? I haven't played that far, dude. You are farther than Daddy at this point.
Can you help me get out of here?
I don't know how. Go upstairs and maybe Mommy can give you a hand, okay? Daddy's working right now. Love you, dude.
It doesn't let me go this way.
It's a hard knock life, I know. I think I'm disputing this and then planning to Nightbonder after Slitherwisp here. This deck can be easily ported to standard. So yeah, the spells in this deck are actually entirely standard legal. However, the mana base is not. And if you look at the colors of the cards in this deck, you'll note that we're playing black, black, green, green, and blue, blue spells, which means having worse mana is a big deal. I was a lot further than him in the Pokemon game, and then he saw me playing last night, and he took the Switch from me, and he caught up and got ahead. Yeah, trying to play this archetype with these colors with a bunch of Fabled Passages is a big ask. Nightbonder feels very good at helping us get under people, which is nice. So I could Brazen Borrower after Cunning Nightbonder here, but I think I'd rather Omen and draw the extra card here. I actually want both of those. Yeah, with Nightbonder, this costs 3 and this costs 1. So I can Cutthroat into Frilled Mystic or Cutthroat into Nightpack Ambusher this turn, which is great. As is the case with most pieces of social media in 2019, Reddit is a fine place to use as what I would refer to as an RSS feed. It's a fine place to, like, find links to decent articles or cool altars or different magic-related stuff. It is not, however, a good place to read the comments. The average person leaving comments on Reddit is not a content expert. They really don't know what they're talking about a lot of the time. They're just looking to blow off steam and complain. It's like Twitter. Using Twitter as basically an RSS feed is fine. Using Twitter to read things other people are posting, not such a good experience. Yeah, but it's fine for finding news sources a lot of the time. If you're interested in a specific thing, like using it as a collection of links is very reasonable. I think I'm going to counter their removal here. Like I said, I think it's important that I pressure them out of the game. I'm going to sack this during my upkeep. Trying to find exactly that. And again, kind of seeing how in these post-board games, the games we're winning are the ones where we're able to apply pressure. One of the, I forget exactly what it was called, but there was a good highlighting how if you're actually a content expert in something, it makes it very easy to understand just how bad the actual information is in places. And, like, it's weird, it's interesting how as humans, if we know a lot about something and we read information, like, I know a lot about Magic the Gathering, right? So, like, when you go and you read these opinions, you're like, oh, that's not correct, or that's not how that works, or that's a bad take. It's funny to laugh at and read that, but then it's also very easy to, in areas where you're not an expert, to forget to translate that, right? So, like, if I remember how wrong on average many of the Magic comments are, if you then assume the same number of comments with world news or politics or science or anything on there have a similar number of wrong or bad takes that I don't know a lot about, it's very easy to realize just how quickly how much of the info there is bad, right? That seems pretty reasonable, huh? Yes, dude. Yep, turn Nightbonder into Wolf into Frilled Mystic here is a really slick curve. They activated my trap card, chat. They activated my trap card. Alright, so this game is over. Our opponent can no longer win. Alright, so Disfigure, Heartless Act, Assassin's Trophy. Just gonna bring in a bunch of our cards that play to the board here. What am I trimming? Spectral Sailor's not a very good clock. You trim a Brazen Borrower. Seems pretty good, right? We're going up to 9, 12 removal spells plus these. Yeah, I think so, Full Metal. When I play against the Flash decks with the Yarok deck, I do think you just want to like try and keep the board clear of their threats. I think as the game goes long, the Yarok field deck tends to be incredibly favored against the Flash decks, so your goal should just be to extend the game as much as possible. Hey, My Fist, thanks for the tip, I appreciate it. For a Baby Godzilla and Sea Dasher Octopus, sounds good. Work some things out with that for sure. Think I like it? Let's do it. Sure. Again, Triome along with the duels. Just looking like making our mana pretty good here. When we played the Sultai Flash deck in Standard, the mana was a little bit awkward, and seeing the pretty big upgrade we're getting from having better mana here in Historic in the archetype. Still here, supporting the Kiki King. I see a Netflix special coming. Thanks for the 27 months unit. Livy, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. By the way, for anybody who's just joining us, if you're someone who is thinking about playing in the second Hoaglandia Open this weekend, I'd encourage you to get signed up sooner rather than later. We currently have less than 50 spots remaining in the MTG Melee signups. The event will be capping at 256 players, because if we go to 257 players, it adds more rounds, and 11 matches of Magic sounds like enough for one day. Just go ahead and do this now, and we can play some night packs out the next couple of turns here. If you are playing in the event, and you've not done so already, you should ensure that your computer is capable of streaming to Discord while still being functional. It does add a little bit of system requirements to your computer. You can test that at any time by joining a voice channel in the subs Discord server or any Discord server and clicking the Go Live button. If we request you to broadcast or share your matches on Discord and you are unable to do so upon request, you will be dropped from the tournament regardless of what your record is. Being able to broadcast your matches is a requirement for the event. I know our opponent stumbled a little bit that game, but it's worth noting they got on the board very quickly despite stumbling, and the fact that we had those black removal spells in our deck really allowed us to play a game of Magic there in spite of the fact that we were on the draw. I think had we been a more traditional blue-green Flash deck, we would have really struggled in that second game, even with them missing land drops, because of how quickly they got on the board. Again, we see here our mana just looking excellent. Triome, two dual lands is fantastic. Alright, Spectral Sailor, you just got upgraded to Doomblade. Easy trade there. Whew! If I could stack my deck, that might have been the card I'd put on top. Alright, bring it, Mr. Sanders. Cometh at me, robber of the rich. Easy trades here, I think. Yeah, so Robber of the Rich is an intervening if clause, so this checks that its condition is met when it goes on the stack and when it resolves, so I can wait till they attack to ambush them in combat. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Frilled Mystic this, because I think there's a chance if they have another removal spell, they're going to kill this so they can attack in, and I'd rather they kill this with the removal spell, rather than using a removal spell plus Robber to kill my Nightpack Ambusher. So I think leading on Mystic here makes a lot of sense. Killing all of their creatures makes a possible Embercleave for them much worse, so I like that aspect of being very defensive here. Yeah, good clean 2-for-1 there for us. That's actually super unfortunate because it means my Nightpack Ambusher can no longer trade with the Rimrock Knight. Just gonna have to take 3 here now. He says, before he counters this. If they have another cleave here, we're probably dead. Not dead to that one. Yeah, it's a little bit sad, Pre-Waits. Neoliberals aren't ideal in terms of redistributing what needs to be redistributed in the United States, but you know, we'll work with what we got. One of the really optimistic things about the United States government is that if you look at the way things have been tracking with the number of progressives in Congress, those are definitely moving in the direction that you want them to be moving in. I think I'm in for both of these, huh? I mean, to be fair, again, as someone who didn't support Biden and would have preferred Sanders being elected, Biden's policies, when you look at Biden's actual policies, he will improve the healthcare system in the United States if he gets past what he wants to get past. Will it be as good as what Medicare for All would do? No, almost assuredly not. But to say that nothing will change is also untrue. You can acknowledge that it's worse than what Bernie would have pushed for, while also accepting the reality that if he gets past what he wants to get past, healthcare situation will improve for a lot of people. Like those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Let's not call names, Pre-Waits. You can discuss policies and people without having to sling mud. I think I'd rather have Brazen Borrower than Omen of the Sea here, just because this tempo can be useful against Embercleave and Torbrand in key spots. The rest of this seems good. I've talked about this the other day too. If you're someone that was a progressive that's really pretty let down that Sanders wasn't the nominee, I'd encourage you to do a little bit of research and pick pick a Senate race or a House seat. There aren't too many progressive senators as of yet. That's going to slowly change eventually too, though. But there are a lot of progressives running for the House. Pick a House race. If you can afford to donate to them. Follow those. Change doesn't just come from the top. It comes on lots of different levels. Soldier Sui, thanks for the 27 months. Welcome back. What are your thoughts on cutting a land and sideboarding in these matchups? I've been cutting the Triome because the curve gets dragged down a bit. I don't know that we're dragging it. I actually think the fact that you're playing Triomes is a reason to not cut lands. I think the Triomes giving you insulation when you're flooding out a little bit is a reason to just keep all your mana around. Alright, well, we're mulliganing a little bit low here, but the hand we're getting to keep is pretty reasonable. Insulation. What I mean by it's insulation against flooding is if you flood, Triomes give you something to do with your mana. It's basically flood insurance. That was exactly what we wanted to draw here. So tap land into tap land, disfigure thing, into Murderous Rider, into Nightpack Ambusher. We're going to get to play a real game of Magic starting with 5 cards here. Hats off to the London Mulligan, by the way. Functional games of Magic like what we're currently playing here just would not be possible in a world before the London Mulligan. In my opinion, the London Mulligan is the single best change that's happened to Magic the Gathering. It's in the time I've been playing it for almost 2 decades. Just such a fantastic improvement. I'm gonna go ahead and just kill the Scorch Spitter here, I think. Yeah, Alan Den, I really feel like I agree with you, Alan Den, but I feel like just pointing out that Trump's awful isn't a good reason to encourage people to vote for Biden, because all reasonable people know how awful Donald Trump is and how bad the GOP has been. I think a lot of people haven't actually looked into the actual policies and things that Biden has proposed. And again, just to be clear, while none of them are as ideal as what Sanders would have been in these situations, saying that they won't bring improvements around also isn't true. I think a lot of liberals could use a lot of progressives, could use a healthy dose of realism. A lot of them have pretty out there, non-fact based assumptions of like what Biden's policies are. Stick to the details, stick to the truth. Work on that. I think I just play this and play a Murderous Rider rather than get a Wolf this turn. Getting the lifelink creature into play seems pretty appealing. I agree, Bushoes. Big agree. Hey, Vivien, thanks for the 12 months. Yeah, I can almost forgive people who voted for Trump thinking that he was an outsider and could potentially result in something different from just the status quo that they felt Hillary Clinton represented. But anybody who's actually paid attention for the last 3.5 years knows that Trump has not drained the swamp. He's just a part of the cog that is the GOP machine, just as much as Biden or Hillary were cogs in the big political machine in this country. And on top of not breaking the status quo, he's continued to uphold and do the awful things the GOP have been doing for a long time. Yeah, there were a lot of people that voted Trump in 2016 that thought they were voting to shake up a system, is exactly accurate. All right, this could end poorly, but we'll see. I'm doing well, to be determined. Life is swell, historic is sweet. Although we're flooding out here a little bit. If we'd had a couple more spells here, I think we would have won starting on 5 cards. Depends on how good their hand is. If they have like Cleave or Torbrand, we're probably out of this game. But if they can't punch through or kill this Nightpack Ambusher, we might win in spite of this flood. Is there a way to see play deck lists that were once in the deck queue? Yeah, 100% of the decks that I play here on stream are on my Stream Decker page. You can scroll back for as long as the stream's been going on. Hey, thanks for the 2 months, Loaf of Bread. Yeah, we played a red-black Menace deck in Standard that felt okay. Was a little clunky against Brazen Borrower, but potentially reasonable other than that. American Gamer, thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. My view on the odd CMC double damage companion seems very reasonable. I think most of the companions are probably playable in the right shell. All right, there's a Torbrand. He says, before he draws another land. They didn't cast it because their hand probably doesn't have a lot of gas in it, and they wanted to keep the counters on the Runaway Steamkin. I think was likely their goal. I did not design any of the stream plugins. Those are all third-party tools. Stream Decker and Cardboard Live are both third-party applications that are free to use. Yeah, John Avon better watch out because we're practicing drawing lands here. And in fact, not only are we flooding, but we're also like flooding while not drawing any of our other triomes that we could cycle. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, I mean, we're still getting a resource on board every turn. Is very, very accurate. Yoron plus Conquer's Death is excellent. I agree. Who's got 2 thumbs and is dead to Embercleave? This guy right here. Alright, I'm going to attempt to draw some spells this game. I don't know if it's going to work out, but we shall attempt. Never not dead to Embercleave, eh? Some things transcend formats. Never not dead to Embercleave. So I'd heavily discourage people, so Malevolence, I'd heavily discourage you from saying things like there's ignorance on both sides and stuff like that, and stick to specifics. Because while what you're saying is not technically incorrect, the message that gets delivered with that serves to minimize the amount of ignorance and hate and nonsense that happens on one specific side. For example, it's accurate to say that both Barack Obama and Donald Trump said many lies while they were president. If you look at Barack Obama's record on PolitiFact and places that fact check presidents while they talk, in my opinion, he had too many falsehoods for my liking. But if you go and compare then Barack Obama to Donald Trump, who just lies passively while breathing, the difference is staggering. It's one of those instances where, while being technically correct, what you're actually doing and who you're serving and who you're helping by pointing out that thing that's technically correct without providing the extra context serves to be very damaging and hurtful. Lesser of two evils, both sides are the same, all of these. Again, if you think you're being neutral by saying both sides are the same or lesser of two evils, you're not. By saying that and parroting it, you are helping the GOP because those types of messages serve to create voter apathy. And creating voter apathy is good for the GOP because when people vote, the GOP loses. Because GOP policies are wildly unpopular. I think I just disfigure here and then trophy this other one. Maybe I was supposed to disfigure in response to them playing this. Very possible. Well, so part of the problem, Karate Dumb, is that having the bandwidth and ability and capability to do proper research on political parties is something that a lot of people don't have. Because a lot of people really struggle to be able to make ends meet and be able to work enough to actually support their family and just exist, right? What's your view on the $600 extra on unemployment? I think anything and everything that's being done to help actual people during the time of literal crisis in which we are experiencing is a good thing. I, however, also think that a lot of these billion-dollar companies that report incredible profits throughout the year, they should be hung out to dry and they should be left to go out of business. I think we should spend more time helping actual people and less time helping big businesses. I think if capitalism is so great, we should let these companies die by the capitalism that they're living by and being incredibly profitable by. Let them burn. Let them fail. Thanks for the 28 months, Project Swamp. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And then people will say, well, but people work for those companies and people will lose their jobs. Yes, that's true. And we should have social safety nets for actual people when those businesses fail. So we shouldn't hang out the people to dry. We shouldn't let... Declan, I need you to go upstairs, please. What happened to your game?
It is on, but I just can't see in my training now.
Okay, you need to go upstairs, please, and stop yelling. One of the fundamental tenets of capitalism is businesses that fail must be prepared to fail to make room for more efficient companies. That plan doesn't happen. Yep. Big dino Declan. He is a little bit of a dino. There's a tiny child playing a Pokemon game here behind me. If you want to sit in here, buddy, you have to turn the sound off on your game because the music's playing. I need you to turn your sound off or go upstairs.
How?
How to turn the sound off? Button right there. All the way off. Love you. I think we're just passing at this point. The fact that I have Slitherwisp in play means that I'm incredibly favored from a position like this. Big donation while Declan was yelling. There totally was. Thank you for the absurd support. Hope you're doing well in these times. Accept this as a humble token of appreciation. You're a great content creator, and I appreciate your mindful insight. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate that. It is a little bit tilted up. Yeah, this is fine. Red Rover, let the idiots come over. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this to start and see where we end up at. Lifelink here doesn't really matter. I notably do not want to kill both of these in combat because I don't want my Slitherwisp to die. Actually, I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and go block, and then we'll bounce this, which means it doesn't die, and then we'll bounce Torbran. And then these will trade off. We'll get to deal 1 to something. It was a good turn. Good turn for sure. You got through the fog. Good job.
I guess I cracked first.
Maybe I don't even need to kill the devil there. I don't have that many cards that gain life. Hey, Ruben, thanks for the 3rd of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Is there value to waiting to let them target the Wisp before bouncing the Torbran? So in order to do that, I would have to take 2 extra points of damage from their creature hitting me. So I don't think that's worth taking 2 extra points of damage. So I get to go ahead and Heartless Act the Torbran here. And then I can offer... Do I offer this trade? I think so. It puts them to 5. And actually, I'm going to do this pre-combat because I could draw a removal spell for this. Thanks for the 23 months, level 0, Judge. I appreciate that. I suppose my sequencing here is really bad if I get Goblin Chain Whirlered. Because I could have had a counter on this. Could be a punish there. Are we 2-0 now or 3-0? I forget. We're 3-0. Okay, let's play one more. If this is a quick one, we'll probably do one more after this. If this one takes a little while, we'll probably be the last one for this. Been playing this one for almost an hour now. Thanks everyone for hanging out. After we wrap up this historic event with Sultai Flash, we'll be rolling into some standard here, starting with Sultai Gyruda. As always, if you're wondering what the deck list looked like for our upcoming decks in the queue, you can always check out the deck queue on my website at jeffhoagland.com. Isn't he precious? He's pretty great. Him and his Nintendo Switch. Greybeer, thanks for the quarter of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. There's been a lot of bad in the world right now, but I have to say, getting to experience and share Pokemon with Declan and Jake's been great. It's been a real treat. Yeah, he's playing Pokemon Sword. We've both been playing it off and on.
He beat my super guy? Oh no. Oh no.
Hey buddy, I love you, but if you wanna shout trash talk at the Pokemon, I need you to go sit on the couch out front. I love you. We just have Sword. We've both been playing Sword on different profiles. Might be a tough matchup on the draw here for us if we don't hit some removal spells ASAP.
What? He has a cut spell? Oh, he's cutting. Oh, yeah, my wallet takes out a cut.
I think I'm just going to try and trade here.
Cutting Pokemon, I taking my cuts.
You are probably better than the 4-year-old, Andrew. You're not wrong. Yeah, I grabbed whatever your latest iteration was from the link this morning before I went live, Mabo.
I'll cut your whole big guy.
Really hoping they play a creature pre-combat here, like Questing Beast would be ideal, so that way we can Frilled Mystic, counter their thing, and block. Just anything that they play pre-combat, we're countering with Frilled Mystic, so we can get a 2-for-1 here. Domri's an interesting one. That's not one you see too much of in Historic. They have an ambush here. That would be a little unfortunate. Yeah, looks like it. Oh, just Bone Crusher, sure. Going down to 8. Yeah, I think this is going to be a game where, had we been on the play, we'd be okay, but on the draw, we're just going to be a little bit too far behind. So we're going to 4 here. If we just do this. Alright, so naturally they had no cards in hand, which means they just drew Embercleave. For anybody that hasn't read this book before and doesn't know how the story ends. I'm not new to Magic the Gathering, so this is one of my favorite books, so I've read it a few times. Welcome to Thunderdome. Enjoy your stay. Almost stabilized that game on the draw. You never forget, chat. The shuffler is as rigged as the earth is flat. The truth is out there. Wake up, sheeple. Again, just highlighting how excellent the triomes are here with the check lands in Historic. Nice, Jace. Let's go ahead and reset the Pelt Collector here at least. Second Nightpack's actually a very good draw. So Brazen Borrower on 3 here doesn't actually do anything, but running Nightpack should hopefully keep us in the game. Well, you also don't have to discard Wrath. So if you read Narset, discarding for Narset's -2 is also optional. So if they don't have something in play you want to kill, just don't discard anything. Wouldn't Borrower possibly bait a bit of removal? Well, one, they don't have any red sources. And two, Brazen Borrower can't block, so no. Yeah, the opponent missing red mana is very likely to be our saving grace here. What's that? Oh, okay. Hold on, we got an attack. No, we don't want that one. Okay, you're good. Keep it up.
Which one you get? None?
Declan doesn't really read yet, so when his Pokemon learn new attacks, I've got to do it for him. Good afternoon, Crockett. Moments before the accident, chat. Moments before the accident. Are we done here? We're done here, right? I've built his Pokemon team in a way that all of his attacks do damage. And I've almost got him to be able to identify. One of the things Sword and Shield does that's great is it tells you if your attacks are effective, super effective, or not very effective if the Pokemon you're fighting against is in your Pokedex. So we've taught him to identify. He reads some simple words, but not fully. To identify if there's 3 words for not very effective, avoid those attacks. If there's 2 for super effective, pick those attacks. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. I think on the play I would consider keeping this, but I think on the draw I just need some actual removal in this matchup. I think I can get the 7 back. Alright, let's draw a land, chat, huh? Let's draw some lands. Oh, are they color-coded too? I don't think I noticed that. Alright, you love to see it. Hey, do not run with the Switch, child. If you trip and break it, it's expensive. And we can't get a new one right now. They're not in stock. Christy's been playing Animal Crossing, and I've been playing Pokemon as well as Declan, so when Switches get back in stock eventually, we're gonna buy another one. Yeah, if you want to get a new non-light Switch right now, you have to pay like double retail, which I don't want it bad enough to pay double retail. Again, we mulligan to 5 this game, playing a real game of Magic. Hats off to the London mulligan. Ooh. Wow, what a savage. Brought in Stone Rain against us. That's just rude. Oh. All right, you got to cleave. So we'll let this happen. And then we'll trophy whichever one they're trying to put it on here. Why not get the light for Declan? Because Declan likes playing it on the TV. Like, I also don't want it bad enough that, like we already have one dock. I wouldn't mind having a second dock and, like, having a Switch on our basement TV and a Switch on the living room TV as well. So I'd rather just wait. Well, you know, them's the beats sometimes. Yeah, having lots of detachable controllers is good too. Big agree. We have 2 pro controllers though. I like that. I just bought a third-party dock for $15 and it works fantastically. Just never buy a third-party dock. Yeah, I'm aware, Psycho Smurf, that you can't move Animal Crossing. So Christie's Island is married to our first one. Alright, that was a quick one. So as promised, let's get the 5th match in this set. Why they're finished 4-1 or 3-2. For those of you that were a little bit sad that Historic ranked left, there is still Historic matchmaking for best of 3. It just costs 1,000 gold entry fee. What do you think of the Vivien's? I don't know. I feel like she's doing something that we're not really interested in doing. I could see her being useful against like traditional control decks, but I don't know that there's enough traditional control in this format to make her be worth playing. If that makes sense. Yeah, 1K gold is like your daily quest every other day. It's not much. And if you go at least 2-2 in one of these events, you make a profit, so... Are you not supposed to use third-party chargers with the Switch? I actually tried using just a standard outlet charger on the Switch last night, and it actually just didn't charge. And I was kind of surprised. Should I guess I shouldn't do that probably then. The USB-C is not the standardized power draw. Wild. You're not supposed to. Yeah, it just literally didn't charge. Alright, so probably going to see an attack here with Linden to flip their Legion's Landing, and 3-mana Nightpack Ambusher gets to get them. So that's great. Okay, with this Frilled Mystic draw, we might actually end up being okay here. We'll maybe get a chance to see Vivien do some stuff here. Let's counter that one, shall we? Sweeper of choice in what format? I think if your deck can play Cry of the Canarium, and you're not playing Cry in the current standard format, you're making a mistake. I think Cry is very good at the moment.
Every day is a new mutation.
Toward blue-black mutate flash. Sounds good, Trumpet. I'll get those added. Thanks for the support. Looking to fade a big payoff here. If they don't hit a payoff this turn, we're going to be in a very good spot. Moments before the accident, chat. Moments before the accident. Do 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 do. Alright, so there's a Slitherwisp on top of the deck here, so we can double Slitherwisp next turn. What's up, dude?
There's new episodes of Paw Patrol, the really old ones. We're not watching anymore. There's new episodes.
There's new Paw Patrol?
No, there's new episodes on the old ones we used to watch.
Okay, close the door, please. I don't know if that's true, but he sounds excited, so I'm happy for him. Listen, chat, once you're a parent of a small child, there is no more silence. There is only the Paw Patrol. Whew! Alright, I don't know if this Vivien is good, but it certainly looks great. Yeah, we are solidly into garbage time here. This is better than Preordain. It draws 2 cards, chat. I am confident that B. Rich wrote that out from memory and did not copy and paste it from the internet. Because if you have children, you could definitely write that out from memory. Can you cast creatures off the top between draws? You definitely can. So in response to these draws, we'll cast this. And then in response to these draws, we'll cast this. Listen, I don't know if this is great or optimal, but it is delicious, chat. This is, if this is wrong, then I have no desire to be right.
I'll survive.
Man, is Slitherwisp about to deck us? I think there's a real chance Slitherwisp decks us, chat. Wow, we have to discard to hand size? Pretty unlucky, chat. Have to discard to hand size. Yum 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 yum. Yum 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 yum. Alright, Disfigure sounds great. Heartless Act sounds great. Assassin's Trophy sounds great. Omen of the Dead does not sound necessary. Spectral Sailor does not sound necessary. As much as it breaks my heart, I feel like this is not a matchup for her. Like, we would have won that plenty without her, right? I feel like I'm betraying her after the card she just drew me, but I also feel like that's probably correct. I'm sorry, Viv. What are my trims here? Cunning Nightbonder doesn't really block. Maybe I just get rid of all the Cunning Nightbonders. Seems fine. Five mana is just so much. I feel like the games where I comfortably get to 5 mana, I'm probably winning regardless. You board up on her in this matchup. Yeah, I guess around 26 lands, around 25. I don't know. It just seems aggressive, or it seems greedy, the opposite of aggressive, to like have a bunch of 5-drops in my deck. Like, I guess here's a question. Do we think Vivien's better than Frilled Mystic? Because I feel like if I want her in this matchup, I shouldn't be keeping all of these. I could see that, though. Like, they get on the board pretty quickly, and Vivien does supply endless jump blockers. Let's try that. Yeah, especially on the draw. Sure. Hey, quite a few runs with Blue-Black Flash. You found that Godzilla is clunky in the deck without any of the mutate cards. The body wasn't relevant. You added 3 Borrower and 2 discard spells. In place of him, a Shark and 2 Quench. I don't know. We're gonna play a few iterations of the Blue-Black Flash deck, but I might have played a little bit with it off stream the other night because I like the idea of what that deck is doing. And the more I play with the Blue-Black Flash deck, the less I'm convinced that it's competitive. Really feels just like pretty clunky overall. Feel like it doesn't have enough cards that play to the board appropriately in Standard. Is clunky a buzzword? No, clunky means like it's expensive. Your cards are expensive and don't impact the board a significant amount for what they do. So Blue Black is basically like every Flash deck ever. It feels good at the drop of a set and then immediately feels worse and worse. I mean, I think regardless of how competitive a deck is, Flash decks tend to feel good. Flash decks in general tend to be very emotionally satisfying to play because when you're winning, you feel infinitely far ahead, and when you lose, you tend to lose quickly. I think the Flash deck from an emotional perspective is incredibly satisfying to play. Yeah, and like, when you're playing against the Flash deck, it always feels worse to play against than it actually is. Like, even when you're beating the Flash deck, you feel like crap and feel like you'd rather not play Magic. Really need to draw it on Untapped Lands here. Alright. I don't know if this lets us win the game, but it's like step 1 towards not dying. Now, I don't think clunky has anything to do with curving out or lack thereof. Cards that are clunky in my mind are things that, like, are tempo negative. They're things that, like, when you spend the mana to do them, you're not very happy with the result a lot of the time. Alright, so I get to flash in this, and then I get to trophy the Linden here. Yeah, blue-red flash is what I really want to explore for sure in Standard. That one was really close to being good enough last season. I wouldn't be surprised if it's good enough now. Getting Shocks and Bone Crusher Giants and Embercleave all sound great. Thinking about how we sideboarded here, from this position, this Vivien kind of seems better than Frilled Mystic, right? I really am not a fan of... I am not a fan of 4-mana Vivien, or 4-mana Narset, sorry. I think she's like a jack-of-all-trade style card, where like she's good at a couple different things, but not great at any of them, and I don't think that's a very good place to be. I think, in general, I'd rather be playing a card that's more specific, and better at more specific things. Yeah, maybe she's better when War Planeswalkers rotate out, but that's also, like, really not saying much. Because, like, obviously cards that were previously bad get better when they leave. When there's fewer choices. So it feels like a silly comparison to make. If they attack with this Vanguard, I'm snap trading with the bigger Cutthroat. I don't think I want a shock to get Vivien down here. Yeah, the fact that her ultimate is so bad is a big deal too. Her ultimate is, like, really bad, chat. Chandra Torch of Defiance deals 5 damage with her ult. Thank you very much. Don't undersell my gal, Torch of Defiance. She's one of the best red planeswalkers ever printed. Maybe the best red planeswalker ever printed. Yeah, and it's any spell. Oh, geez, they get to flip Legion's Landing now, too. That's such a huge deal. Oh, it gets rid of a Johnny, though. That's interesting. Or it gets rid of Heliod. I think I trade these.
Every day is a new mutation.
Hopefully they get aggressive with this Pridemate here and we get to blow them out. Or you get to just, like, stack block. Yeah, I feel like we're ahead at the moment. The X-Men Sweetbackers, we're 3-1 at the moment. I think I'm actually going to lead on this so I can start drawing some cards. Like, snowball our advantage a little bit harder here. What if I play this now and give up the wolf to try and hit a land? It also lets me play Murderous Rider here. I think that's the play. I guess I could have also played this in response to the trigger, but I kind of want to get the Murderous Rider down since I'm giving up the Nightpack token this turn regardless. Really glad I brought my backup Vivien. I also just have Assassin's Trophy here too, which is great. Oh, Trophy can deal with Legion's Landing. Yeah, that's super true.
A world of monsters. This is my paradise. Every day is a new mutation.
So we're trying to fade 4 mana. Johnny here is their card that could really get us. I mean, Heartless Act doesn't kill their largest threats, but it's still very reasonable. In the early terms, it can kill critical things. When they're set up with Heliod, it's obviously much worse, but I think it could also, like, lead to blowouts inside of combat that are fine.
We will adapt to any threat.
So I'm gonna let this wolf happen, and then before they get to untap with it, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this Adanto first for it. And then I think starting next turn, I'm supposed to start getting a little bit aggressive, so that way I can get their life total under 35. I think trying to keep them under a point where they can ult and a Johnny if they peel one is going to be important here. No, I think we can play around it a little bit by getting a little aggressive. Oh, they need to lifelink the Primate? Yeah, that's true. Okay, fair. There aren't any onboard tricks I'm missing, right? I can just block both of these just completely free. Whew! Is that a good one, chat? Is that a good one? Well, I can't adventure spell this off the top, right? I can't adventure spell this off the top, right? That's how this works. That's fine. It's fine. It's really not a big deal. All these beast tokens have vigilance, so we just get to attack with no fear. And again, this is going to hammer their life total down to a point where they can't peel a Johnny and kill us. Like, they had a window this game where they could have peeled a Johnny to, like, decimate our board and kill us, but now we're past that point.
Daddy, I can't pick anything.
What's wrong?
I can't pick anything on the menu I'm on. I will show you why.
Hold on, I'll be out in just a second, dude, okay? Daddy's got to finish stomping him on a white player. This game's been a really good example of the health total not being a scoreboard, right? Like, they were super far up on life, but we've been ahead in the game for a little while. All right, I'm gonna go sort of menu really quick, chat. Hear me. What's up, dude?
Victoria answers.
Oh, weird. What happened? Did you mess with the settings? Did you push random buttons? a second. Ugh. Alright. I need to go out there and help him after this game is actually done for a second, but let's win this game really quick. And then they're going to play this, and we'll kill it with this in response to the triggers. It'll be great. He took the TV. He must have changed the color settings on it. He put the TV and it's black and white when I went out there. So he must have just been hitting random buttons on the remote. For a Naya Historic Winota build around. Sounds good, Fox. It's an artistic choice. Something like that. Well, he wasn't very happy with his choice. Now I can't watch my show. Alright, so we hit 4-1 with this. Seemed very reasonable. I know the spell base in this is standard, but I really can't understate how important the mana base upgrade is. Like, when we played this archetype in Standard, it felt super clunky, and, like, the number of games where we got to just be, like, Triome into a bunch of buddy lands and just have perfect mana. Like, I don't think we had a single game in that set in 5 matches where our mana ended up being awkward. And, like, obviously, you're still going to have some issues on occasion, but just Triome, checks, shocks, made playing our black, blue, green spells super reasonable and consistent. I ended up really liking Vivien there. I think the suggestion from Clyde in chat that she was reasonable against the creature deck because she flooded the board, I'm really glad we got a chance to see that shine there. I don't know if I love her as a main deck card. I think I feel like I want just like a scotch more interaction in this main deck. I feel like the change I would make is probably cut this flash thing down here in the Vivien and slide a couple of trophies into the main. I love you, child. I promise waiting 2 extra minutes for your TV is not going to kill you.
No, it's still not even letting me pick a show.
Okay, I'm going to be out there in just a second, okay?
And I don't know what's wrong. It's not letting me watch a show.
You played Vivien with Sparkle yet? We've not, but I had someone suggest that, and it sounds sweet. I don't think it sounds sweet in this deck, but Vivien with Spark Double in general sounds fantastic. All right, what are we doing? I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get him set up with his TV show, and then I got to flip everything over. When we get back, we are going to kick off the first of a minimum of 4 standard decks today. We're going to try out some Sultai, Guy Ruda / Giga in the Cyberclaw Terror. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out.